Yeah, y'all know what it is. Got the original Long Wolf coming at you. We got a quick little video that I want to do. Well, actually, I'll take that back. This one won't be that quick. You guys may want to do something like pause the video and come back to it at a later time if you got some shit you got going on, or if you know you can't watch it all the way through, because this is going to be the conditional acceptance video that I was talking to you about. We're going to go over a couple of things. Like how I told y'all in a couple of videos in the past that when I did this conditional acceptance video, I wasn't going to show y'all what I sent them and all that shit. I wasn't finna put it on there. Like far as the screen share and all that, I wasn't doing that. And the reason for why is simple. I want y'all to do it yourself. I want you to do the research yourself. I don't want you trying to fucking call me and shit while you at court and all this other stuff trying to get some shit together and blah, blah, blah. And, do it ahead of time. When you have some downtime, you got to sacrifice and budget some of that downtime to being able to do these things. All right? And that's the biggest reason for why I'm not putting it on here. Sharing other people's templates and all this other shit, I don't agree with it. I personally think you do the footwork, you put in the time, the effort, and you learn how to do it yourself. I'm just somebody here that's I'm here for people who want to do these things. They tired of the shit that's going on. They don't really know exactly how they're doing this shit to them. And they looking for some viable sources in terms of information that they get to be solid information. This is the reason for why I tell y'all, don't take my word for it. Whatever shit I show y'all, look into it for yourself. All right? Look into it for yourself. Don't just be like, well, shit, the original Long Wolf was like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to just do it. And it's like, well, I don't know all of the details of what's going on with your shit. You know better than I do. This is where the research part come in at. This is why I'm not putting like templates and shit out. That's why I don't do that. Because this is part 2 of the conditional acceptance, right? When the state of Illinois tried to come after me for taxes. Remember the video I did? This is part 2. This is me getting into what I sent them. Right? I'm just not going to show it to you. Okay? So, the first thing we're going to look at, so y'all know that this shit is legit, this is what they sent me. Okay? This is what they sent me. All right? And if you notice up at the top, it say notice of proposed tax due. The key word is proposed. That's the key word. Again, this is to the trained ear and to the trained eye. And the only way to train that shit is to study. If you don't study, you'll miss words like that. That's the first word that jumped out at me. I opened this shit up. Fuck these niggas won't, right? Because on the envelope, you can tell who it's from. They telling you, right? Open this shit up. Fuck these niggas won't, right? That was the first thing I read. Propose was the first thing that jumped out at me. It's like, oh, y'all think y'all got a goofy over here. Okay. That's why I did the other video where we looked up propose, proposal, and all that shit. Acceptance, the different types of acceptance, one of them being conditional, etc. Right? So I did all that. You all are supposed to go look this up. Go look up what proposed mean. You go look it up, man, and drop back in the comment section and be like, man, dog, I looked this up in this dictionary and that dictionary and it said do. You come back and tell me. I just want to see if you motherfuckers is doing the work. This is the same shit I was telling people when I was doing the Zoom meetings. Motherfuckers that was in my Zoom meetings, they'll tell you that. I don't give a fuck about your job and how busy you are and you got kids and grandkids and all. I don't want to hear that shit. Find the fucking time. It's just that simple. If you smoking weed and you drink or whatever, then you can find some time to motherfucking, if you sit down watching these bullshit ass TV shows, even if it's just one, that 45 minutes or hour, however long that show lasts, you could have spent that time actually researching what I was talking to you about instead of watching that shit. So I don't give a fuck about your life and what you got going on in it. Now, being sick or something, that's a little bit different. I kind of understand that. Sometimes you can be sick or you sick to a point to where you want to blow your own brains out. So I get that. But outside of all that, man, I don't want to hear shit. I don't want to hear nothing about your girlfriend, your wife, your son, your daughter, none of that shit. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Find the time. So again, the first thing that jumped out at me was proposed. It's a notice of proposed tax due. Now, when you get over here to this part over here, they got some more information. And the first thing that I noticed was taxpayer ID, right? You know, I got the XXXXX, and then they give you the last four. Well, the last four is my social security number. It's like, oh, really? So that's what you call that, huh? That's what you call my social security number, huh? That's what you call it, huh? A taxpayer ID. Oh. No wonder you can't do shit without a social security number, even though they tell you you ain't supposed to give it out. Do you see the game? Do you see the game? The Social Security Administration tell you don't give your shit out. I can show y'all all kind of stuff where they tell you Social Security numbers is not required. But try to go about doing it without getting the Social Security number, without giving them your Social Security number, and look at the fucking hassle they give you, and you still don't get what you want. Try to get driver's insurance without giving your Social Security number. Try getting insurance, car insurance, and without getting your Social Security number and the driver's license number. Now, the Bad Wolf did a video a couple of weeks ago talking about different types of insurance that you can get without having the driver's license, right? But even he admitted that they still try to give you problems and shit. They try to pretend like they don't know what the fuck you talking about. No, you know, it's a scam. This is why I don't charge no fucking money, man. The only fucking thing you can do when it comes down to a scam or fraud is not participate. How many times y'all want me to say this shit to y'all? There ain't no money in that. The shit I put out ain't no money in it. And now you see what I'm talking about. So when it comes down to this shit is a scam. I don't want to fucking participate in this. And that's exactly what I told them. So they going into talking about Form IL 1040, which is the 1040 form, but it's for Illinois. It's roughly the same 1040 form on a federal level. It's just this one is just for Illinois. Remember the rule of apportionment. Look up what the term rule of apportionment mean. Look it up. It'll start to make more sense. You hear them talking about now, well, we're going to get rid of taxes and we're going to stop doing this involving taxes and blah, blah, blah. You know why? Because there's people like me. That's like, wait a minute, man, this is bullshit, man. And you forcing us to go along with it. You're not supposed to do that, man. If we supposed to be in honor, you supposed to remain in honor too. Even if we dealing with each other from a corporation to corporation basis, or if we dealing with each other from a live blood flowing through your veins basis, regardless of what spectrum you on, you supposed to remain in honor. And when a motherfucker come to you and say, I don't want to participate in this shit no more, and you continue to force this shit on them, you not in honor, man. Period. You could be George Bush, Donald Trump, Barack Obama, or whoever, man. You're not in honor. These are not honorable people. J.B. Pritzker is not an honorable person, man. Brandon Johnson is not an honorable dude. That fucking heifer out there in Dalton, Tiffany Hayner, the whatever the fuck that heifer name is, the fucking mayor of Dalton, that bitch is not in honor. She's not in honor. And I'm here to tell him about it. Look at this. Y'all see this shit? You see this? This is on paper. We ain't got into shit that I got on my hard drive and shit. I mean, when I was doing the motherfucking Zoom meetings, Jenny used to ask me all the time. She'd be like, where you get this information from? How are you find? And she used to think I was being a fucking jerk, but I was telling her the truth. It's like, man, I searched for it, man. I might be researching something somebody told me on YouTube and run into some other shit. And I just take it, I collect it. And she thought I was like being sarcastic, and it's like, I'm not, man. I'm dead fucking serious. This is how I get this shit. I got loads and loads and loads of shit on my phone, my laptop, this big thick ass blue fucking folder, all kind of shit. I got shit everywhere. And it's because of what I'm talking to you all about now. Don't take my word for it. Do your own fucking research. And then you put that and transform it into you. You transform it into your little kids, like especially if you got little children, you know what I'm saying, to protect them. You dig? This is what you have to do, in my opinion. But one thing I know for a fact is don't take my word for it. Look it up for yourself. So they talking about you got 30 days from the date of this notice to respond. Matter of fact, let me just read it to you. It say, we received information from various sources, including the state of Illinois, for the reporting period shown above. which the reporting period shown above is December 31st, 2020. Okay, now I got this letter May the 28th, 2024. Okay, so it's based on this information, we determine you owe Illinois tax. Right, now keep in mind, I don't know what the fuck you niggas talking about. I don't know what Illinois tax is. This is how you gotta look at that. This is how you gotta look at it. This is how I have to look at it. What the fuck is that? Who's what? Huh? So it's see the enclosed EDA-131 examiner report and the next page of this notice for detailed information on how we determine your liability and how to respond to this notice. It says you have 30 days from the date of this notice to respond. That's going back to what I've been telling y'all. That's fucking step number 1. If you don't know the first step when you get something like this is you have to respond to them, then you're a fucking moron and I can't help you. And that's whether if you subscribe to my channel or not. If you don't know, the first thing you have to do, you got to respond. You have to respond to them. Okay? So then it goes on to say, if the proposed liability is correct, we back to proposed again. This is why I keep telling y'all, you got to study. You got to look into this shit. It's if the proposed liability is correct and you do not follow the payment instructions on the next page of this letter, you may owe additional penalties and interest. It say may. You may owe. May is a permissive word. Look that up. Look up what permissive words are and what it means to be a permissive word. Look it up. It says if you do not respond, we will send you a notice of deficiency and assess the tax and any appropriated penalties and interest. They're telling you what they're going to do. You have to turn around and do the same thing to them. You have to do the same thing to them. If you don't fucking respond by this time, this is what I was telling y'all once before. Motherfucking Rando could send me some shit in the mail saying, bro, you owe me $30,000 and blah, 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 this, that, and the other. And if I don't respond to this motherfucker, he can literally go through moving forward with filing court cases and shit. He can literally sue me for this. Now keep in mind, he just sent this shit to me out of nowhere. Like, nigga, I don't owe you anything. You just mailed this shit to me. But because I didn't respond to Rando, it's like that nigga can literally move forward with filing liens and all kind of shit. That's the way it works. Now, a person may say it's fucked up, and I'm not here to argue that. I'm not even trying to have that type of conversation. I'm just trying to explain to you that's how it goes. Whether if I agree with it or not, whether if you on board with it or not, that's the way it works. Okay, so it's telling me, if you do not respond, we will send you a notice of deficiency and assess the tax and the appropriate penalties and interest. The notice of deficiency will spring your protest rights if you disagree with the assessment. Now keep in mind, I ain't got shit else from them since I sent them the conditional acceptance. Because you know fucking well the original Lone Wolf ain't no moron. Of course I responded to him within 30 days. I used the mailbox rule. Why would I not respond to you within 30 days? Why the fuck would I not? I know what proposed mean. I don't know what the fuck Illinois tax is, but I know what proposed mean. I understand you using words like, we received information from various sources, including the state of Illinois, right? Now, the state of Illinois is supposed to be the motherfuckers who sent this to me, right? Well, who in the fuck are your other various sources? If you have witnesses, if you have a case, goddammit, you got to lay that out on the table. I need to know who these other various sources are. They never went through that shit in this. 3 fucking pages, and they never told me who the fuck their various sources was. Again, to the trained eye and to the trained ear, you'll miss that kind of shit if you refuse to study. You'll miss it. Now, mind you, they saying, let me read some of the information. Let me give you some of the numbers. It's a tax due, $976. It's a penalty due, $167. It's a interest due, $157. Now, keep in mind, Rando can do all this to me. Put in a letter and send it to me. Just like this. And I'll be looking at Rando like, get the fuck out of here. What the fuck you mean? That's how I'm looking at them. These motherfuckers is Rando. They just sent this shit to me. It's like, nigga, what the fuck you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Now, if you can explain this shit to me and make it aware, make me aware, then okay. Right? And we're going to get into that with my conditional acceptance. We'll get into that. But that's how I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this like fucking Red just sent this to me like, yeah, nigga, you need to pay me that. It's like, well, I don't know that I need to really pay you this. Well, how the fuck did we get here? Randall sent me some shit like, yeah, based on some of my sources I got, you owe me this money. Well, nigga, who in the fuck are your sources? Who are these motherfuckers? Because I don't know you or these motherfuckers. Okay? This is impartial. This is incomplete. Based on what I'm reading and based on what you all are hearing me say, this is incomplete. You can't just do this shit to nobody. Now, if you don't know any better, or because all you see is taxes or IRS and you, then yeah, they got you. But I tell any motherfucker, you won't bend me over a table, not without a fight. Fuck I look like. Okay, so it's a total deficiency is $1,300. Amount to be paid, $1,300. This is just some shit they conjured up, man. And even on the back, like right here, they giving you numbers, more numbers and shit. And it's like, well, where did you get this shit? What is this bullshit? If the paper was so hard, I could wipe my ass with it. Because that's all it is. This is tissue. Well, it could be tissue paper, but it's too hard. You fuck around it. Anyway. If it wasn't so hard, you could definitely go in the bathroom and take a dump and wipe your rear with this and flush it down the fucking toilet. Because that's all it's worth. That's all this is worth. And I don't give a fuck if it comes from the IRS. So it's you can now submit your support through My Tax Illinois or online account management program. Support submitted through the My Tax is secure and may help avoid delays associated with information submitted by mail. You can also use the My Tax Illinois to check your account balance, view your existing account. It's like, no, man, I'm not going in there and setting up username and passwords and shit for what? The fuck am I gonna do that for? Okay? So, they're giving me some more information in regards to like if I file bankruptcy. They also talk about, if you disagree with the changes on the EDA 131 form, you could take appropriate action and blah, blah, blah. It say you must file an Illinois income tax return if you filed a federal income tax return, which I haven't. It say you were not required to file a federal income return, but your Illinois-based income was greater than your Illinois exemption or allowance. I don't even know what the fuck that's about. I'm not required to pay. You all are bringing me up under this United States citizen shit. And then when a motherfucker attempt to try to do something about it, you want to keep them in it some kind of way. Again, that's dishonorable. And they know it. They know that people like me know that you all have taken millions and millions on top of probably billions of people by now because of how long the tax system has been in place. You all have taken billions of payments from people, and this is how you buy your jets and your missiles and all of these fucking little weird-ass creepy drones that got little tiny-ass little packages of C4 on them that's supposed to run into the intended target and blow this son of a bitch to bits. This is where you got the money from. So you got motherfuckers like me who know this. All of your little bullshit-ass so-called ray guns and futuristic-ass bullshit you use, that's how you pay for it. You got people like me that know that that's how that happened. That shit is dishonorable. And then you turn around and you use your little ray guns and your little lost in space ass weapons and shit on the people. That's wrong, man. So they giving me, like I said, on these last 2 pages here, front and back, they're giving me some sort of bullshit. I guess it's supposed to be the breakdown of how I suppose to owe this shit. Okay, I guess. I don't fucking know. It look like a bunch of numbers to me, but without me being an asshole and just trying to act like I'm a goofy or something, I'm just saying that's what it appears to look like to me. But yeah, you never gave me no real you dig on how you got this shit. Like I told y'all, you know what I'm saying? These last couple of pages, they don't go into the various sources. It say we received information from various sources. It say including the state of Illinois. Well, the state of Illinois is the motherfuckers that's sending the shit to me. Who are the fucking other folks? So I got the shit, as you can see, and I politely sent the shit right back to him. I used the beneficiary signature at the end. That's supposed to be a thumbprint, but it didn't really come out all that great. I think the ink pad is drying out. But I used the beneficiary signature, letting them know that I'm the beneficiary. So I go into notice of conditional acceptance. To whom it may concern. And I want y'all to listen up. I say, I, Tavares Maurice of the Tankersley family, I'm reaching out to the corporation known as the State of Illinois Department of Revenue. DUNS number 806-347274. And then I put in parentheses, C. Dunn and Bradstreet. Because I received an offer in the mail. I know that that's what it is. They told me that's what it was. Now somebody drop down the comment section and tell me that a proposal don't mean a fucking offer. Or what I propose is, you tell me that's not a suggestion. It don't mean you got to do a goddamn thing. The only thing you got to do is respond. That's the only thing. Because otherwise they could say it's true. Well, Your Honor, he never responded. That's how you get the courts involved. If they don't accept your counteroffer, there's no case. That's why you keep hearing me tell y'all they ain't responded. This letter that I sent them is dated June the 26th of 2024. They sent this letter to me May the 28th of 2024. That's less than 30 days. Right? Now, mind you, what the postal rules say. The postal rule tells you that the State of Illinois Department of Revenue, they accepted my counter offer the day I went to the fucking mailbox. Which in this case, the post office, because you got to send this shit certified mail. You know what I'm saying? But the day I went and did the certified mail thing and either went up to the counter or did the free certified mail way that you can send your shit free, the minute I gave that shit to them, they had already accepted it. Not the post office, but the fucking people I was sending it to. That's why you got to get the shit certified or registered or priority mail. That's why you got to do that. So it's I received the offer in the mail regarding some sort of tax that I owe. Whatever records you all have, I must not have them because I don't believe I owe any man or woman anything. I know they're a corporation, but there's a man and woman behind it. They're the ones that invented it. I say, however, I do want to be honorable and do the right thing, so I am responding to your offer, and I also would like to provide this conditional acceptance as a way to attempt to settle this matter. If a man or woman from within this company can meet the terms of the conditions of, if they can meet the terms of condition of this conditional acceptance, I'd be more than happy to pay said debt. Right there, I just eliminated a court. Right there. Can't take me to court. Because you know I go to Bill of Rights, you could take a motherfucker to court for anything of a sum of amount of $20 or more. Go back and read the Bill of Rights. Okay? If I'm telling you I ain't got a problem with paying you, how the fuck you gonna take me to court? You can't. That one line, that one sentence, you just eliminated a judge and the jury. You just eliminated them. It's number one, who is the man or woman that is saying I owe this debt? Corporations cannot speak. Number two, as an Aboriginal man to the landmass known as the United States of America, also known as an American Indian, per the Indian Civil Rights Act of 1968, signed by Lyndon B. Johnson 7 days after Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered. How am I responsible for any tax of any kind? You gotta explain that. Explain, number three, explain why the United States Supreme Court has ruled that the income tax is a direct tax and is unlawful without using the rule of apportionment. You got to explain how you can ignore the fact that the Supreme Court said that an income tax has been deemed a direct tax. Direct taxes is unlawful. I was talking to the little kid where I work at my job. He works second shift, but they got them niggas coming in like an hour early, so we get to work with him for like an hour. And he from Egypt. Little dark skinned motherfucker. He like 10 times darker than me. Like for real, little motherfucker, man. He probably in his early 20s. And we were talking about that. He was like, yeah, man. He's like, you go anywhere else, man, and you know what I'm saying? They don't tax people. He said something about the UK. They got some sort of tax that they take from you, where you know it pay for shit like law enforcement and garbage collection and shit like that. He say, man, if you make $2,000 a month over there, they may take like $160. He like, you come over here, they take $500-$600. I was like, yeah, motherfucker, I know. I already know. He like, they don't tax people nowhere else. You go somewhere, you make $2,000, they give you $2,000. He say where they come from, you can get it in cash, check, or you can have them put it directly in your bank account. Just saying. So you got to explain to me, how the fuck y'all doing this to a motherfucker without using the rule of apportionment? That's why I'm telling y'all, when it come down to taxes, go research the term rule of apportionment. Go back and research the tax cases from the Supreme Court where they's like, man, y'all can't do this shit. So number 4, I say I would like to number 4, I would like a on-book as well as a off-book ledger as to how this man or woman have came to said amount that I owe. They got an on-book ledger, which is this shit. Which is this shit here. They got an off-book ledger. It's kind of like running numbers and shit. They got an on-book ledger and they got an off-book ledger. The off-book ledger is the shit that they doing behind the scenes with the fucking information that they already got. Like, for example, if you've ever filled out a 1040 in the past, whether if it's on the state level or federal level, the off-book ledger will be when they securitize it without your fucking permission and they reap the benefits of it on the back end. They keep a log of that too. That's the off-book ledger. Or like, for example, when the bond, you know, when you got to post bond and shit, the on-book ledger will be the amount of motherfucking money that they've generated from people having to post bond and get out of jail. The off-book ledger will be the ledger you don't see where they acquire the interest from all of the motherfucking deposits of the people who posted bail. They don't show you that. Well, how much interest did you motherfuckers make off that money? You took in 250,000 bond posts from people who had to post bond within a year. 250,000 bonds. They was all different variants of amounts. That totaled up to one number. How much interest did you get off of that one number? That interest is the off-book ledger. They don't tell you about that. I say number 5, can prove that every taxpayer is a Sestakate trust is not true. According to the Wisconsin Supreme Court case in 1912, I think it was, don't quote me, I have to go back through my records. The panel of judges of the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled that every taxpayer is a Sestakate trust. For anybody who talk that shit about sovereign citizen, there's no such thing as a trust, and they're not. What they're doing is they're securitizing it. They're monetizing and they're securitizing it. That's what they're doing. That's the real truth behind the Sestakate trust. They have taken your blood, sweat, and equity, and they're securitizing it, and they're monetizing it. That's the truth behind your birth certificate and the social security number. That's the truth. It's a bond. If you know anything about the stock market and shit, then you understand. It's a bond. So, number 6, provide proof that the state of Illinois is not a subsidiary of the United States Corporation according to 28 U.S.C. 3002 subsection 15B and C. Because keep in mind, 15A tells you the United States is a federal corporation. B and C goes into its motherfucking sister and parent companies and subsidiaries. When they turn to states, when they what's the best way to, when they franchise the states, because basically that's what it is. Each state is a franchise of the United States. That's why they mirror each other. That's how they trick you into thinking they talking about the Constitution when they really not. The minute they monopolized all of the states, that's when they usurped the sheriffs and shit. That's why most sheriffs ain't about shit now. That's why they stand for the same thing that the policy officers stand for, even though that they're on a much higher plateau. They're much more deeper and embedded in the Constitution than your local and state cops. You got to remember, they ain't always had state police. You got to remember that. It say number 7, prove that under federal tax law that filing a 1040 is not voluntary according to 26 CFR 601.602 Section A. They tell you it's voluntary. I say number 8, prove how the public debt is not discharged upon the United States dollar for dollar. Number 9, prove that the United States is not a corporation according to 28 U.S.C. 3002 subsection 15A. They are. I say according to 28 U.S.C. 3002 subsection 15A, they are. They tell you that. I'm not a party to the shit. I'm just using their shit because they're a party to it. What I'm saying is, wait a minute, you guys are party to this. You're supposed to follow this, not me. I'm just pointing out your shit to you. That's all I'm doing. That's why it's always good to tell them when you go to court, ain't no lawyer, ain't no judge. I'm not a party to that shit. That means you don't fall under it. You don't fall under 28 U.S.C. 3002 subsection 15A. You're not a party to it. This is why you've had courts rule that you're not a party to the Constitution. You have rights called the Bill of Rights within the Constitution. And what that means is very simple. The whole entire Constitution is a contract between corporations or entities. Within their shit, they're saying you cannot do this to men and women. And what they're saying you cannot do to men and women is called the Bill of Rights. This is why I tell you, you got to study this shit. You got to know what the fuck you're talking about. When you point out the Constitution, it's only to tell them, you all agreed to this. I'm not a party to it, but you are. So seeing that you're a party to it, you have to follow this shit. Not me. They tell you in 26 U.S.C. 6301 or 6308 or some shit like that, they tell you who has to pay taxes. They tell you. So it say number 10, provide proof that the sovereign man or woman is liable for a direct or indirect tax. It say, if the above 1 through 10 can be explained in plain detail by way of a notarized affidavit from a man or woman within this company, then I will be more than happy to settle this matter in full. Again, that one sentence, I just killed the judge. I killed the jury. I flicked them like boogers. Get them out of here. We don't need them. You can't take me to court. Because this is contract law. If I agree to this notice of proposed tax due, if I agree to that, I'm entering into a contract with them. That's why it says proposed. I say, be aware of the postal rule regarding this conditional acceptance. It makes this a common law contract between us, which states. And I copied and pasted the postal rule and put it in there. And you can look up the postal rule under Cornell law. Because it's pretty long. It started right here at this page, at the bottom of this last paragraph, and I printed out all of it. The case law, everything that surrounds the postal rule. All of this. Because the postal rule is serious. It's some serious shit, man. I told y'all, man, the post office is so motherfucking powerful that even during wartime, man, they still working. They were still delivering mail in Vietnam, man. When them niggas was over in Iraq and shit and Desert Storm in the 90s and shit, the Iraqis was still getting their mail. Now, some of you motherfuckers know niggas that was in Desert Storm and shit. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all know motherfuckers that might have served in Iraq back in the 90s and shit. Them niggas are still getting their mail, dog. The post office is powerful as fuck. I'm telling you. So, I go into, I cited some more shit. I say other things to consider. After I showed y'all this last page of the postal rule right here, all of this right here. At the bottom, it says other things to consider. And it says every taxpayer is a sesticate trust having a sufficient interest in preventing abuse of the trust to be recognized in the fields of courts prerogative jurisdiction as a relator in the proceeding to set a sovereign authority in motion by action. And this was the Supreme Court case, the Wisconsin Supreme Court case of 1912. It never made it past the Wisconsin Supreme Court. The Wisconsin Supreme Court shut it down. They was like, nope. I also explained to them what malfeasance was. A wrongful, unlawful, or dishonest act. I keep telling you, these motherfuckers are not in honor, man. When a motherfucking cop don't respect your right to travel and thus for making a driver's license null and void, he or she is in dishonor. You cannot do that. It's all about harming the public, baby. It's all about harming the public. And if you understand that, and if you can separate yourself from the matrix, because that's the other thing. You guys have to understand that. You have to separate yourself from the matrix. When you're able to do that and they ignore you, that is called malfeasance. And based on that, it is a wrongful, unlawful, or dishonest act, wrongdoing by misconduct by a public official, malfeasant in public office. Those are fucking politicians. That's why you heard me tell you, Brandon Johnson is in dishonor. The fucking mayor of New York, the nigga they indicting this shit now, Eric Adams and all, he's in dishonor. Breach of trust. A trustee's violation of either the trust terms or the trustee's general fiduciary obligation. This is the reason why when they give me a traffic ticket, the first person I reach out to the clerk and I send them a little friendly reminder, bitch, you work for me. You work for Rando. You do know that, right? He's your fucking boss. It's the violation of a duty that equates imposed on a trustee. Whether the violation of a duty was willful, fraudulent, neglect, or inadvertent. A breach of trust subjects the trustee to removal and creates personal liability. This is the reason why I keep trying to tell motherfuckers, why the fuck y'all only solution is, we're going to vote him out. The next election, you won't be there. It's like, bitch, do you not understand what breach of trust mean? Oh, you don't? Let me read it again. A trustee's violation of either the trust, keep in mind, they took an oath to protect and uphold the Constitution. Within the Constitution, they have carved out a little section that's called the Bill of Rights, saying that when you go about your business within the Constitution, you cannot do this to the public. Every fucking public official took an oath to that. That make them trustees. That make them a public servant. A public servant is a trustee. A trustee's violation of either the trust terms or the trustee's general fiduciary obligation. I want you to absorb what I'm saying. The violations of a duty that equates imposes on a trustee, whether the violation of duty was willful, fraudulent, negligent, or inadvertent. A breach of trust subjects the trustee to removal. That means you gotta go. And creates personal liability. That means you can be held liable personally. That goes for every motherfucker with a badge. I don't give a fuck if it's the Secret Service on down to the lowliest motherfucking city cop. They all can be held liable personally. Don't ever speak that quality immunity shit again. This is the original Lone Wolf, man. I'm out.